What's up, everybody? It's Tanner with Built Not Bought, and today I'm going to show you how I built this one-of-a-kind jewelry cabinet. Let's get to it. One of my goals with this project was to use as many hand tools as possible. I wanted to make some hand-cut dovetails as well as make some cool Kumiko pattern and incorporate that into the project. This is actually my first attempt at hand cutting dovetails of any sort, and with the help of a few different jigs and the proper hand tools, I found it to be attainable. Mine didn't turn out perfect, but they turned out pretty gosh darn good. You just got to take your time. While cleaning up these dovetails with a chisel, you might notice I accidentally hit the wrong item with one of the chisels, but that's kind of par for the course for me. So onto the Kumiko portion of the build here. This is basswood, which is known for being very soft and easy to cut and work with. And it's kind of the preferred wood species of Kumiko, which is what I've recently learned. I also want to mention that I need to give a lot of credit to Jonathan over at JT Woodworks. He makes some great videos, and I basically taught myself through his tutorials. So, a little bit about Kumiko. It's a Japanese artistry that's pretty famous in the woodworking world. And it's essentially making cool geometric patterns and shapes by cutting tiny little pieces at various angles. I built these jigs, and then with the use of a chisel and a hand plane, you carve in different angles and then you piece it all together like a puzzle. And in the end, you're left with something beautiful. The specific Kamiko pattern that I'm using for this project is the Asanoa pattern. And from what I've researched and understood, it's a great pattern to start with. And it's been a ton of fun to learn about and then finally test out in this jewelry cabinet. I think it looks so cool when it's all finished. In this small grid alone, there were well over 100 pieces hand cut and hand trimmed to the correct angle so that everything fits precisely. If your fitment or your angles are off even the slightest, it's not going to fit together very well. And if everything is dialed in, it's going to be so snug that it almost locks itself in place. I started by dry fitting everything and it was holding very well, but I went ahead and pulled it all apart later on in the video and added glue to add a little bit more strength.
Well, just wanted to get a head start on that. Mother's Day is about a week away. I always procrastinate, but this time I gave myself a little bit more time. Last year I did it the night before and I made some cool wooden flowers. Check out that video if you haven't seen it. But my phone is about to die. It's getting a little bit late on a Sunday and my feet and back are killing me. I just did a little bit of math. It took 16 of those last pieces to fill out one 2x2 grid, and I need to do 5 more. I'm not good at math. 5 times 16, it's a lot. And then after that, I have to fill in corners. Oh man, literally hundreds of small little pieces, but it's going well and it is kind of enjoyable. I sure hope she likes it. She's gonna like it, right? Time will tell. Good night.
Now would be a great time to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I work extremely hard on these projects and on making the videos, and it would mean a ton to me if you did either one of those. And let me know down in the comments what you think about this project. This time lapse I thought was a great way to capture how tedious and how many little pieces all had to fit together into this beautiful Asanoa pattern, but it is so satisfying to assemble and then to rewatch now as I'm editing. Unfortunately for me, once I get everything fit together, I have to tear it all out again and then reassemble it with a little bit of glue on every joint. This isn't necessary, but for the plans that I have with this, I'm going to be tooling on it and inlaying, and I think it's going to be a added security blanket to have a little bit of glue in all of these joints.
Well, we got the last piece put in here. I'm really excited. I think it looks so stinking cool. This is the Asanoa Kumiko pattern. There's all different types of pattern of Kumiko. I decided to try this one first, and I think it's super cool. Next up, I need to make the door for the cabinet, and I might be filling in this with epoxy, whether it's clear or black, some other color. I want it to be incorporated into the door. I don't know if I want it to just be air holes in there or sealed off, to be determined.
While we let that glue set up on the Kumiko pattern, I'm going to assemble the framework of the cabinet itself, and this is made up of hand-cut dovetails and wedged mortise and tenons, and the combination of both of those was a fun challenge, and it also looks really cool in the end. At this point in the build, I'm on cloud nine. Everything is looking great and coming together nicely. The excitement is climbing as I get closer to the final assembly. Unfortunately, after this pour, things go in the completely wrong direction. If you're unfamiliar with epoxy, there are different types and cure times for how deep of a pour you make. Foolishly, I thought since each of these were tiny little compartments getting filled with epoxy instead of one solid pour, I could use my fast hardening epoxy. This was so wrong, and it ended up bubbling and boiling and smoking just minutes after I poured it. This is a catastrophic failure, especially at this point in the build.
So I was debating even using epoxy, and I figured since each little section was individual and it wasn't one big pour, the fast hardener would work. And I also didn't want to wait 5 days for the thick set to cure. And I deeply regret that. I don't know. It's still like kind of gummy and smoking. I hope it's not completely ruined because I don't have the time or the motivation to cut all those little Kumiko pieces again. And I was getting so excited at how it was coming together. Of course, a big setback at this point in the game, but time will tell. Maybe we can fix it.
In the back of my mind, I had a little bit of hope, thinking I'll just be able to run it through my planer or drum sander and get rid of all that gunky, bubbly stuff, and below would be nice and solid. Unfortunately, there were little bubbles that went all the way through the entire pour. So I grabbed my Dremel and went to town on widening all of these little pits so that the next layer of epoxy could actually stick to them.
Well, good morning. Just poured myself an espresso. My wife got me that machine for Christmas and it's been amazing. Learned to love it. Anyways, heading out to the shop. No idea what to expect. Fingers crossed that the epoxy was able to soak into those little tiny bubbles and that I can clean it all up and salvage it. If not, I'm gonna have to start all over, but we'll see. Wish me luck. So it's not fully cured. I can still like stick my finger in it, and for the most part it looks better. I mean, obviously not perfect. There's a few little air bubbles that I'm hoping are just surface and I can sand them out, and yeah, gonna have to wait another day or so for that to fully harden. All right, we are back in the shop, and unlike earlier in this video, we are running out of time because it is Thursday and I need to get this done by Sunday for Mother's Day. So it's time to really put the nose to the grindstone. I am a teacher, a farmer, and a woodworker, as well as a father and a husband. So life gets a little bit crazy, and sometimes I think I have more time to do stuff like this than I actually do. Anyways, we just finished planting, which is great. And now it's time to focus on getting this jewelry box, jewelry cabinet, whatever you'd like to call it, all finished up. All right, so I've been jumping around a little bit on this project and doing a lot of the boring stuff off camera, but I'm working on the drawers and the door of the cabinet and shifting gears to the back of the cabinet. I didn't really think about this throughout the whole build process, but I didn't account for a back panel. And in order to mount some of the like earring holders and necklace holders, I think I might need to have a back panel on this. So instead of like putting a piece of Baltic birch 1/4 inch plywood in, I just made some chops on walnut veneers. These are going to get glued up together and make a panel that's probably 3/16 thick. This is the smooth side, of course, and this is the side straight off of the bandsaw. So I'm gonna glue these all together, make a panel, and these are gonna go and get routed into the back side of the cabinet.
wanted to add a little bit more of a Kumiko pattern to the bottom drawer, and I was hoping to just get a really simple hexagon. So I made a smaller grid for this portion, and then I was able to take this grid over to my bandsaw and trim out the actual hexagon shape. And then I'm going to inlay that into the drawer. I think it's going to be a cool added detail that will just kind of tie in a little bit more of the Kumiko to the rest of the cabinet. I have to admit, while this may look like a small or simple detail, this was one of the more technical parts of the build, especially later in the game. I'm going to take my marking knife and just make a cut mark around the outside and then on the inside of this hexagon shape. And then I'm going to completely freehand it with my router and clean everything up with a chisel in hopes that I can inlay this hexagon pattern into the walnut as cleanly as possible. Up next are some custom-made brass handles. I want to insert a handle on the main door that opens up and also a little pull tab handle on the largest drawer at the bottom. This is just a piece of solid brass stock that I ordered off of Amazon. I've been wanting to use it forever, and this was the perfect time to try it out.
Are you helping me build Mommy's Mother's Day present?
Yes.
What do you think so far?
Good.
Do you like the mirror?
Yeah, I can barely see your roof from here.
Yep, you can see the roof. We better get back to work. Running out of time.
This is my son Kai. He loves sneaking out into the wood shop to help me out whenever he can. Today he was playing the drums. We were listening to some rock and roll music while I was gluing up this project. It's always fun to see him out here, and I hope that someday he will have the same passion as I do in the woodworking world.
So here's a little update. I'm not filming everything because I'm only down to 1 day left, but I'm just going to create a couple different dividers and such that are going to hold various different types of jewelry. So I'm going to do a vertical bar here, and then I've got these walnut dowels. These are going to slide through some holes I just drilled here, not all the way to the end. There's going to be a little gap so that you could like slide a bracelet up and over and mount several bracelets onto this. So I've got 2 for bracelets, and then I'm going to do something for earrings, maybe like 2 or 3 or 4 rows that you can hang or hook earrings on. Then the last thing in this section, I've got some hooks I'm going to mount to a post up here that you can hang necklaces on. Anyways, we've got drawers over here getting glued up. We've got the bottom drawer here getting glued up. Working on like 20 different things at once, procrastinating, but that's when I do my best work, is at the crunch time, last minute, you know how it goes. I made some brass handles. I think I did get a little clip of cutting those out. I found out you can use wood cutting blades to cut brass because it's a softer metal. Just go extremely slow if you try it. I've been wanting to incorporate brass into a project, and I think that making these custom little handles is going to really class up this jewelry cabinet a little bit. So I'm excited about those. What else? The next big thing is getting all those drawers to fit inside of each individual slot, which seems like a piece of cake, but it's going to be a lot of hand planing and a lot of work. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit of an update. Sorry, from this point on, I'm probably not going to show every little detail of the process, the sanding, finishing, etc., because I just don't have time. But let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, and I will be glad to help you out and answer them. Let's get back to it. I decided to put a little knob on the end of these just to kind of prevent things from falling off. I cut out a circle with the scroll saw as best as I could, and then I thought it'd be cool to like kind of carve it a little bit and make it look a little more organic and funky. Just a small little detail, test out new things, see how she goes.
I just wanted to add a little bit more brass, and these little cubbies needed a handle of some sort to pull them out. I debated between an integrated handle, just a little half circle U shape that you could put your finger in to pull them out, and then I remembered I had these really cool brass threaded inserts that I use on the Kumiko jigs I showed you earlier. So these were like the perfect fit for this project as a whole, and I think they just kind of tie it all together.
All right, Kai, what do we got to do today?
Dude, nice work.
What do you got? You got your tools?
Mm-hmm.
Can you show us what you got? Got your toolbox.
This. I got this.
We're down to the last day, and my wife has to do hair for prom. So, daddy daycare in the wood shop. Let's go.
Not yet, Dad. I'm not ready.
Isla, you ready to work?
I'm ready to work. Well, I haven't bring her tools from her work then.
She'll just have to share with you.
Let's take care of it. Oh. It breaks in half.
Did you cut it?
It broke.
Earlier, you saw me cut out these little notches in the door to the cabinet as well as this drawer. I'm just using some medium clear Starbond CA glue. And then I also ordered in these little brass screws, and the combination of both of those should be more than strong enough to hold this handle onto the drawer and onto the door. These handles are fairly simple in design, but I thought there was enough other stuff going on with the cabinet that I wanted to keep them relatively simple. I think it's just a nice little pop of color and they look cool. I also off camera used my chisel to cut out a little mortise or channel for these brass hinges to fit into. And then I am going to pre-drill some pilot holes for the brass screws to hold them into place.
All right, everybody, it is 10:40 on Mother's Day Eve, if you will, and I just finished putting Odie's oil on everything. I'm going to have to get up early and attach the door to the frame because it was just easier to finish it unattached, but I have kind of test fitted everything and it worked out pretty good. So I think it's fair to say that we accomplished our mission here. I gotta quit procrastinating like this, but I am very happy with it, but my opinion doesn't really matter. I hope that Bree is happy with it. She does an incredible amount for myself and my kids, and she's one hell of a mom, so she deserves a great heirloom present. And I think every woodworker strives to be able to put the word heirloom onto some of their projects. And as I was building this, I couldn't help but think that, you know, it's for my wife now, but maybe someday it will get passed on to my daughter Isla or our soon-to-be new daughter who's going to be born in a couple months. So it was worth the extra effort. And anyways, I'll give you a couple of quick shots here, or I might actually just wait till tomorrow morning when it's fully assembled because it's all just scattered, but I think we did it.